Hi everybody, hope you're all well. This is part 12 of 31 Days in August, and this is the second random viewer's choice selection, which was picked by Hippies Collectables, and it's Fantastic Four number 387. Now the cover is very typical of comics from this era, from the 1990s, die cut with a foil enhancement. Hello. And obviously a dual cover. There. I mean, the 1990s was definitely the year of trying to entice people into buying comics just because they had pretty shiny colours and covers. I know I'm a sucker for chromium covers. You had comics like Ninjak, Bloodshot. There was a issue of Superman which had a chromium cover, really nice chromium cover that I used to have. I mean, the chromium covers were everywhere, and just recently, The Walking Dead number 100 has had a chromium cover fitted to it, which I've got around here somewhere. Probably one of my boxes around here somewhere. So yeah, chromium covers isn't anything new, and holographic covers, variant covers, isn't anything new really. If you've been collecting comics for about the last 25-30 years, say, you'll definitely know what variant covers are all about and that. So it's nothing, none of these amazing things they do with covers at the moment isn't nothing new. Anyway, we sorry about that. We start off with the Watcher, Uatu the Watcher. He is musing in his citadel on the moon about past meetings he's had with the Fantastic Four, how he's helped them in the past with things like Galactus and giving Reed Richards the ultimate nullifier, which was the weapon that scared off Galactus from eating the Earth originally. We also start off with this story. Previous events happening were Nathaniel Richards, who is Reed Richards' father, coming back from an alternative universe and kidnapping Franklin Richards, Reed and Sue Richards' son. Franklin Richards then coming back from this alternative future as a teenager, and everybody finding it very strange that he's come back as an older person and finding it very hard to trust him and everything. And also Reed Richards and Dr. Doom's seemingly killed by Dr. Doom's machinations and desperate need to want to destroy his mortal enemy, Reed Richards. Also, we have Scott Lang as Ant-Man, who is now the Fantastic Four's scientific advisor. And as well as that, we also have Namor, the Submariner, Prince Namor, sniffing around Sue Storm like he usually does, like a dog on heat, all because Reed Richards is now seemingly out of the picture. We also, in this issue, see that Johnny Storm is going to be a father in some shape or other. He's dated the Skrull Leah for several years now. And they're not actually dating now, because when he found out that she was pregnant and she didn't give birth to a baby but she gave birth to an egg, it sort of freaked him out, which I can understand. You know, you would be pretty freaked out if you're used to something happening in one way and it happens in another. But I'm sure Johnny Storm used his usual hot-headedness to make the situation completely much worse than that. Now, Sue Richards is on the understanding and on the belief that Reed Richards isn't dead. She says that Dr. Doom is too he's too egotistical to be to allow a simple thing of a simple way of killing Reed Richards. She believes that somehow that Dr. Doom has made Reed Richards and himself disappear and go somewhere else in time and space, which is why she's asked Scott Lang, the Ant-Man, to help rebuild and control the Doctor Doom's time sledge, which he manages to do, and it's all working perfectly. At this time, Franklin Richards gets a message from his grandfather, Nathaniel Richards, saying that he must find his son, that Franklin Richards must find Nathaniel Richards' son and get him to help him with plans that Nathaniel Richards has in place for future events. We see Nathaniel Richards place the face mask of Doctor Doom over his own face, and talking to Doombots in Latveria, he says that even though he asked Franklin Richards to help him save his son, he didn't say which son. At the same time, Franklin Richards is, I would imagine you could say, suffering a schizophrenic episode, as he is being plagued by voices which resemble the alter ego that the Invisible Woman, Susan Richards, turned into, called Malice. Whether this is a psychological problem that only Franklin Storm is suffering from, or whether it is actually the psychic embodiment of the character Malice invading his mind at the moment, we don't know, but yeah, still pretty strange. As Sue Richards, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm, and Leah the Skrull get ready to get onto the time sled and see if they can find Reed Richards, a fiery apparition appears in front of them. It's Sue Storm. I keep on calling her Sue Storm. Sorry, I'm just so used to her being Sue Storm. Her being Sue Richards. I know she got married ages ago to Reed Richards, but sorry, Sue Richards appears to them as a fiery apparition, warning them of impending future doom by saying that she can't believe that Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm are still alive because she's seen them die. With this and the sudden disappearance as soon as it turns up of this apparition, Johnny Storm says, "I'm not having any of this, I'm going. You know, if you want to go on a fool's errand and try and see if you can find Reed, that's up to you. I'm not having any part of this. I've got family to think of now, you know." At the same time this is happening, Franklin Richards turns up at the Baxter Building and takes the time sled from Scott Lang. But luckily enough, Scott Lang has created a secondary device that can travel through time and space, and it can also follow where the main time sled has gone through. Now, possibly the strangest part of the story is Namor the Submariner being in Sue Richards' bedroom while she gets changed into a brand new costume, which is, yes, I will say it is actually a definite it is a definite upgrade from the costume she had previously, which I believe is known on the internet as Slutty Sue Storm costume. If you want to Google that, you're quite willing to do so. Yeah. Leanne the Scroll has a heart-to-heart with Johnny Storm and manages to persuade him to go with Sue and Ben and Scott Lang into the time stream to find Reed Richards and to find Franklin Richards and see what is going on. The 4 characters, Sue, Johnny, Ben and Scott, go into the time stream, and when they've reappeared the other side, they see stood in front of them Reed Richards. Sue runs up to him, hugs him, and all completely get taken aback when Reed pushes Sue away and says, "What are you doing? Why are you wearing that? What's wrong with your hair? What? You're acting completely irrational, woman. Stop it." It's at that point that they find out that this new Fantastic Four has gone back in time and are now confronted with the original Fantastic Four from their past. Now, I haven't read this comic in a donkey's age. It's definitely written in a very soap opera-y sort of way, if that is a word, even soap opera. There's lots of different. I mean, you've obviously got the 4 main characters. You've got the 3 remaining characters of Fantastic Four. You've got Scott Lang. You've got Leah the Skrull. You've got Prince Namor, Submariner. They all have these stories that are mismashing into the main story, and it does come to reading a bit like an episode of Days of Our Lives or Neighbours or EastEnders or something like that. Maybe not EastEnders, because EastEnders is completely depressing. But you get what I mean. It does read like a soap opera in this comic, which isn't bad, but you would possibly expect more from a comic book. Yes, you've got the whole sci-fi bit of the time stream and going back in time, and obviously the superpowers that these people have. But maybe it's because I don't watch soap operas and I've never really had much to do with soap operas, apart from when my parents were alive and my mum used to watch them like religiously, you know. But saying that, it's not a bad comic, it's not a bad story, and I will probably be going back into my box to see what happens in issue 388 of this, which I'm sure I've got. I think I've got. Yeah, I must have. If I ain't, I'll pick up on eBay. So yeah, there you go. That was Fantastic Four number 387. Thank you very much, Hippies Collectables, for picking this out randomly for me. Tomorrow is another day, and it is another completely random comic picked by myself. If you want to give me any more numbers for the Viewer's Choice Random Comic Collector selection, whatever you want to call it, draw, yeah, on next Friday, then you're welcome to do so. The more numbers you give me, the more randomness I have with going into the comics at the back there, once I take all those clothes off the top of the boxes. Yeah, thank you everybody so far who has taken part in this, and don't forget, at the end of this there will be a raffle, so if you want to win the prizes that are going in the raffle, which I will show next Friday. I forgot to show them this Friday. Yeah, I forgot to show them this Friday, so I'll show them next Friday to remind everybody. So if you want to be in with that raffle, then give me two numbers, one between 1 and 51 and one between 1 and 300, and hopefully your number will be drawn out on Friday. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We are now well over the 3/4 way mark, careering towards the halfway point of this 31 days in August. Hope this is still interesting to everybody, and hope you're all having as much fun as watching these videos as I am reading these comics. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Everybody take care, and ta-ta for now.